Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the Greenwood Board of Trustees will be held at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 8, 2026 at the Yale McDonald Community Center located at 619 Main Street in Greenwood, Nebraska. Said meeting is open to the public and encourages the Chattanooga Board of Trustees reserves the right to adjourn to exec session for state status 84-1410. Open Meeting Act is posted in the meeting room for the public review. Roll call: Stephanie.
Here.
Kevin.
Here.
Tanya.
Here.
Mark. Here. Don's here. Consent agenda: minutes, approval of time cards, payroll detail reports, financials, profit loss, and balance sheets. Or additions or corrections?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Minutes, approval of time card, payroll, detail report, financials, profit loss, and balance sheet.
Second. Roll call: Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Don. Stephanie.
Aye.
Water report.
Oh, sure. Everything was as normal. And then, there's a call with the item on the agenda for a while.
Any questions for all of the water? Sheriff's report. They can come in. We'll go back to them. Maintenance report.
We did have an issue with the sewer plant. One of the 3 blowers actually shelled out. Unfortunately, there's a blower that's on hand to replace that. So when we get some time, we'll replace that. But the reserve blower that we have in stock will probably need to be replaced. You can probably address that with the next budget cycle. But they're about $4,000 or $5,000 to fix one of those. I'm not sure if the other blower can be rebuilt or not. We've got to take it apart to see, but it's obviously bearings or something inside of it because it's making a wreck. So, and with that, the power problem or flicker that we had a couple of days ago actually tripped the clarifier chains, and it did not call me the way it was supposed to. So it went about a day and a half without the clarifier chain running, so it created a little bit of a problem. So we had to pump that out today. So we're working on it, but we're still in compliance with no problem. But there's been some issues in there last couple of days.
Any questions for Al? Clerk's report. Treasury report. Any questions for Darrell? Planning and zoning. Fire and rescue. Park and rec. Library.
Nothing new.
Communications of citizens. No one? Okay, old business. Discussion of possible action. Nuisance property at 439 North Street.
Kevin, do you have a clarification on zoning for that now?
439, I just gave her new map, so give me just a second. Is it 439 North? R2 is what I'm showing right now.
Okay, so we can. It's not commercial.
As of what I have with the maps and stuff right now, it is showing R2.
Okay, so it is residential. Okay. Is there any, did he move that interact that was
Yeah,
in
right
there?
in my backyard.
Do what?
Yeah, he moved it right towards line of sight in the backyard. So yeah, he did.
He did.
Tap it.
I also did clarify, there's some claims of a survey being done back there. The last survey of record with the county surveyor is from 1991.
Also, if it helps, the shed in question was removed in 2021.
Your shed?
I took it out in 2021. We bought it. It was there when we bought the place, and I got tired of looking at it and tore it down and hauled through it.
Pad's still there, right?
What's that?
Pad is still there?
No, yeah, Pat's there. Well, it's there until I took that jail deal and got with it.
Okay. There. I'll have to escalate with Mr. Clayton and get him to play a little nicer. Took 3 weeks to move, 5 weeks to move the hayrack out of the alley. Which side of the alley does
I need to get a survey done. I need to just pay the $200 and get one done. Just to.
Kevin, which side of the alley does the power poles lie on in that alley? Does it say?
Give me a second.
Because you really can't tell.
No, you can't. It's too difficult to tell.
I mean, if you go based on the neighbor's fence, the power poles line up with the back of their fence.
Yeah, but I'm not exactly.
I have no idea. Unless somebody finds those pins.
When he sold that building, did he have a survey done?
He said he did, but you have to report it to the county.
From what I'm seeing here,
According to the Nebraska statute, you have to file any property surveys within 90 days with the county surveyor. And the last one of record is from 1991.
If you're changing this.
going off the maps and the information I have that I got from Windstream when they were put in and our poles, approximately dead center of the alleyway is where those poles are at.
And that would make sense.
And that would make sense.
That would make sense.
Because you look and you're like, man, this could go either way.
Yeah.
The exception is the pole at the corner of your property on the southeast. That looks like it is probably about 1.5 feet off the property line.
It's pushed a little further.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 feet. I'm guessing there was probably a damaged pole or something there, and then we got replaced next to it.
Yeah, there's still a hole for the damaged pole.
Am I too late? I need to go to the restroom. I'll be back if you need me.
Yeah, so from what I see your pole, dead center of the alleyway.
Now that we know that it's not a commercial property, and that the power poles run dead center down the middle of the alley, and that there's been no survey done, we can proceed a little bit.
Has he done anything since the complaint?
He moved, the horse trailer is not there anymore that were in the pictures provided, and the hay rack has moved about 30 feet back towards my house to the south.
And other construction equipment is still sitting there, with weeds all over it.
We will send a letter. I think that's our next step.
Probably have to,
Another reference point for you too, there should be a transformer about the center of that property.
Yep.
It looks like the east side of that transformer is on the property line. So that helps.
We'll give it a couple weeks to respond to the letter, or at least acknowledge it, and then we'll do what we can from there. So,
I'm just started looking at it.
no, I understand. I'll make a motion to have the clerk send a letter representing the village of Greenwood to respond to the letter and get him to act on the nuisance complaint.
more specifically, machine.
Machinery. Second.
Because that's, correct me if I'm wrong, machinery is about the only thing that's.
And the hay rack.
And the hay rack.
That's part of it.
That's machine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Tanya seconded, so roll call, Mark.
Aye.
Donna, Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Discussion possible act on SEI FAT status.
hoping he would be here.
Oh, we talked about it back in February, March, the SEI fobs.
Oh.
We know.
Oh, and I lost my SEI access, so I had to go back and request new access from SEI.
Gotcha.
So that's, I think I have access now. I can tell you.
So we need some extra.
No, there was a gazillion fobs got passed out, and then some stayed with cruisers, some stayed with people, and SEI is requesting we get a better handle on entry and exit. I think the one that Alan has still says Zach, maybe, things like that, we just gotta fix.
Fix them as I know when they show up.
You have SEI access or master access?
The action on it. At this time, I'll make a motion to table the SEI fob status.
I'll second.
We'll call it Donna, Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Harley.
Aye.
Martin. Approve or disapprove claims list pay.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims list pay.
For a second,
I'll second.
we'll call Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Approve or disapprove claims list B.
I'll make a motion to approve claims list B.
For a second,
I'll second.
we'll call Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Donna, Stephanie.
Abstain.
Approve or disapprove ABC Pest Control Annual Agreement for $607.08. Is that every 3 months?
Sorry, annual.
Yeah, it's a year.
But they come out
Yeah,
every 3
everyone's
months.
right, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve ABC Pest Control Agreement for $607.08.
I'll second.
Roll call, Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Donna, Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Discussion possible action, AWS.
Okay, so as you may know, we have obviously been kind of looking for a will plan on what to do with our will in the situation we're in now. So I reached out to Tim Zock. So Tim Zock is basically the second guy in charge of the water system in the city of Lincoln. And I asked him, I said, what, if any, process or is there any solicitation process, is there anything that we can do to solicit the city of Lincoln to buy water from them rather than go forward with the well replacement? And he told me, as in the text I sent out, that that is not a consideration that they're willing to entertain until their second source is taken care of, and that won't be online for another 18 to 20 years. So that is not an option. That's just simply not an option. So, and obviously, I looked through the JEO report for the well that they did 2 years ago, and $2.5 million is obviously a lot of money to replace the well. So I talked to Bryce with EWS Well. He does some of our well maintenance stuff. He is actually a professional engineer. He has a PE stamp. And so we came up with a plan on how to essentially replace our well for several $100,000 instead of a couple $1 million. That is contingent on some things working. So the first step in that process or that plan is to go use the NRD's test well that they drilled by the water tower. There are 4 test wells that the NRD has throughout the community. That one obviously would work the best for us because it is the most economical. It's property we own. It's close to new water mains. It would be ideal if that worked. So the first part of that process is to take their well that they have and then actually pump water through that well for a 24-hour period. So it is a monitoring well, which means monitoring basically means they flip it up, they run it for 15 minutes, they take the water out of it, and then they take a sample, and that's how they get their sample. So their sample that they get, it says, hey, the nitrates are, and I apologize, I don't remember what the year, but they were zeros. So they were 0 there when they take the monitoring samples. You can't do that when you're considering a well because it's not the same thing. You're not drawing the same volume of water through the well that you would be under municipal pumping. So what we would like to do is we would like to have him, we were fortunate that they actually drill a 4-inch well. So we can drop a pretty large submersible pump in that well. And their well is at 85 feet. Our current wells are about 100, 102 feet if the screens were all clean, and they're not. So they're very close in the same depth. So we think that it would be a good representation of what a well literally 50 feet around the corner would be. So we would like to drop a well in there, run that at a high volume for 24 hours, take samples every 4 hours, and then take those samples and have them analyzed at the state lab. If the nitrates are low on those lab samples, then obviously we can go forward and we can say the next step. We also will monitor the drawdown to make sure that we're, if you're not familiar with aquifer, it has pockets. Some pockets are good, some are bad. If we run it for 24 hours straight and we suck air through it, we know that that is not a good place for it. So, as the municipal well will be much larger. In the event that the nitrates are an acceptable level, and to be acceptable, to be very honest, it would have to be 2 or less, 3 or less. 2 or less or 3 or less would probably get you another 25, 30 years before you would have to treat probably on one well. Okay. If that comes to fruition, the next step would be to have AWS actually submit, because he has his, he can submit plans to the state of Nebraska and say, we want to drill a well, and then they can approve the plans, and then he can actually drill a well. He can drill a well, municipal well, for $100,000. Now that's not a well house, that's not controls, that's not a pump, that's just a strong ground, a strong ground. But he has a PE stamp, which will save us hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in industry fees. Yeah, a lot. And if we're able to put that right there at that same spot, we can literally do the tie-in ourselves. We can do everything right there, way, 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 way cheaper, like ridiculously cheaper. But the first step is to make sure that the well field there is acceptable. So you have that quote from him. It's about $8,000 to do that. If it fails or it's too high, that $8,000 was just money you spent on a test. That's what it was.
So you're gonna do that.
You are going to do that no matter what. You have to prove to the state that you can move on to the next step. So the state, if you didn't know, the state has basically an approval process for literally every step along that process. So that's our first step. And I think this is the most economical, and we hope, our feeling is that will come in under 3 for nitrate levels. And if it does, I think that there's a path to get that well replaced that doesn't cost millions of dollars, which is a reality. That is a reality. And this is not, and not to overemphasize, but we can't wait anymore. That well that we have is in terrible shape. So the casing is just in terrible, terrible shape. So we need to get something moving. So that would be my suggestion, is go ahead and pump test and see where we go from there.
When NRD did that, Brad, you were here. The nitrates wasn't high, it was manganese.
Manganese and iron.
Manganese and iron.
So I think you're probably to a point now where I don't know that you're ever going to pump water out of the ground and just pump it right to your customers anymore. I don't think that's a reality anymore. You're going to have to treat it in some form. And iron and manganese is way cheaper to treat than the nitrates is. So I think that's why you do this test and figure out what those numbers are at. And then
Will they test for them also?
it'll be an all
Yeah,
test. Because we want to know exactly what's in that well. Because we do have hard water. I mean, we have about 300 organics in our water, so it's pretty hard. But and kind of to go along with that, we have the PFAS stuff. I wasn't familiar with the PFAS stuff, but essentially the EPA is now monitoring for microplastics in all of our water.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's an issue throughout the US, so we are monitoring for that now. So.
What is the fix for manganese iron?
I don't know on a municipal level.
What do I think it would be? I think it's an RO system. Because in reality, the RO system gives you Well, to chlorinate, don't take care of the problem, doesn't kill the manganese, doesn't do nothing.
Right.
So you have to go to a filter base, and there's multiple, different types that you can use. I know we had talked about this a couple years ago, and we really didn't need to then, but now I think Alan's right 100%. It's one form of treatment or the other, but right now, that's the one I would go with to treat.
Brad, not to interrupt, according to Google, manganese can be effectively removed from water using air injection, oxidation, reverse osmosis, or an ion exchange system, depending on concentration and water usage, which we won't know until we get after.
And so, and this is why nobody at our level should be making that decision, just because, everybody is probably familiar with iron and manganese removal when they're using 35 gallons every 4 hours in their house.
Right.
We're using 1 million gallons a month. It's not the same thing.
And you got to also remember that test, like Alan said earlier, that was a 15-minute run time.
Yeah.
That meant that 15
Right.
minutes of water that they ran was high in manganese and iron. That doesn't mean that, you could draw down 3 foot and you're fine.
Right.
Which is actually fairly common when it comes to manganese and iron.
If we took our well today and we didn't run it for a month or 2 months or quarterly,
Quarterly.
I think our diesel goes quarterly, so they sit for 3 months. If we took our well and we didn't run it for 3 months, our well quality would be completely different than it is, because it's not ran every day, multiple times a day. That's why we need to do this stuff.
And we do have around 411,000 in our debt account, which is water. So we do have some. Every year we stick, or every month we stick 6,000 of the water revenues into this account, because we did that when we had to pay for the water tower and the meters, but we never ever quit doing that because we knew we were going to have a well issue at some point. So we left that account alone. So every month there's 6,000 goes in there. So we haven't had the last month in there, but it was 405, 569.55 cents. Add another 6,000 is 411,000. So we do have pretty decent money for a new well. So to start with, so and that account is called the debt account. So the board members know.
I think 100% we need to move forward. If you watch the news,
It's happening everywhere.
well, if you watch the news, Las Vegas and New Mexico and a couple of, the Southwest is looking at putting in pipelines to the Great Lakes. Water's not going to become, water's not going to be any easier to come by in 10 years.
And we want, if you didn't know, our aquifer actually that feeds our wells is pretty small. And it's fairly small, and it's and we want to protect that at all costs. But I don't think, when you chlorinate, chlorination is it's a carcinogen. You are introducing a carcinogen into water. So anything that we can do to steer clear of that would be better. But there is a point where that's just not an option. You do have to chlorinate under certain circumstances. That's just the state makes you do that to mandate. But I think that I'm hoping that this will come out right. And if it does come out high in nitrates or like super high in iron manganese, to be very honest, I don't know what you're doing. The next step is going to be a high dollar treatment system. And I don't think there is any problem.
Do you remember, this was the only test well that had low nitrates, wasn't it? All the rest of them had.
Everything else was below 10, but
mid-range.
I want to say they were below, everything was below 6 down to 0. 6 and a 4, and I want to say another 4.
So the fringe, and I guess let me explain why that is. So that test well is in the middle of town, and it is not subject to nitrogen-based fertilizers.
Yeah, runoff and stuff, yeah.
Right. So all the other ones are on the fringe edges of town, and they're subject to all the nitrogen runoff from farming and all the other stuff. So the idea that JDO has of just going out somewhere 2, 3, 4, 5 miles and finding some place that doesn't have that, I just don't know. I don't know where you're going to go here. But if this doesn't pan out and you have to go 2 miles outside of town, you have to repeat this process in multiple locations until you find something that's suitable. And then it becomes a certain point where you just,
Yeah, it's not feasible.
it just becomes a simple, it's just not feasible to do anything except treat it. So,
Any other questions on those?
No, I'm for moving forward with the stuff, with the testing and stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve the AWS well bid not to exceed $8,000 to run the test on the NRD well adjacent to village water towers.
I'll second.
Roll call, Stephanie?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Tanya?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
We're gonna go back to the sheriff, so he can
Hello, Sergeant Horner.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I don't have a report for you, because my computer's out. How are things going in town here?
So, heard a little about UTVs, ATVs, is that gotta be go down and get with you guys then?
So, you're asking, does it supersede what you've got going on?
You still gotta do it with you guys, right?
I don't think that's going to be the case, I'll have to double check, as long as it's in city limits. I mean, this is really designed for all the people that are driving outside, because
Like
most
farms.
towns, they've got them. And, there's very few left that don't, but the problem we have is they just need to. Hopefully this will be a good solution.
The ordinance that they presented, the fee for Cass County is just for Cass County for the county roads. They would still have to get one for your villages
Right.
if you're gonna drive here. You don't need both. Well, you would need your village for sure.
If you wanna,
It's
if
the
you
county
wanna
road.
drive in both, then you're gonna.
But yeah.
But yeah, otherwise you'll still be fine.
Underage drivers,
Okay.
it's going on all the time in this town. When are we ever gonna get a ticket?
Has anybody been pulled over that you're aware of?
All you gotta do is drive around,
Well,
it happens all the time.
you know, unless they're like 12, that's not probable cause.
Well, I don't think 14 can drive without.
No, you're absolutely right. It's not probable cause though, unless I can.
I mean, I see people that are under 10 driving.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So get their plate, I'm gonna call them
They're not registered.
Yeah.
It's small UTVs.
in. Oh, okay, so you're not talking about, sorry, I didn't take your question correctly. I thought you were talking about underage drivers.
It could be a
Cars.
Well,
But in UTVs, currently, yeah, that's something that we should be pulling over for.
UTVs, golf carts,
Anything.
skateboards.
Now, cars is a little different, because that's a problem cost thing, but no, I mean, UTVs, if we think they're under 16, we should be pulling them over. Because, to be honest, a lot of times, it's a catch-22 on how busy you are, whether you go for an actual UTV violation, I'm just being honest. But if they're underage, then that should be a priority, which we pull them over every time. So if you're seeing it all the time, they're not registered. If you do know who they are, or who they belong to, I'd recommend calling it in so we can know how to talk to their parents. If we don't catch them again.
Right. Obviously, you're probably not going to every time you
No.
get it. I understand.
I think it's gonna get to the point where some places where they're ticketing the parents,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
You gotta know, in my neighborhood over here,
If you get down, that'd be better. Take a couple of them, it'll get around.
Right.
see over in my neighborhood around 6th and Walnut, currently I've got 2 or 3 individuals that have electric motorcycles now.
Right.
And they are motorcycles, they do not have pedals on them, I've put huge statutes and stuff on that. They are wearing helmets, but I can guarantee you're going up to over 16.
It's the same thing. I would call in, go ahead and give their names. We don't have to report you or you mark their anonymous. We can have to talk to their parents. Because if they're over a certain voltage, then they're considered a motorcycle. And they need a license, they're gonna need a motorcycle's endorsement as well as the helmet. Because they're not, can't do the non-helmet when they're under 21 anyway. And so the helmet's a thing as well, but we'd ask for some more guidance from the county attorney because they're just everywhere. They're just random. And so what we've been doing is pulling them over if they're on the legal roadways. We pull them over and say, well, you know, this is not, I go, well, then pick your poison. If you want to ride it out here, then you need license plates, you need a driver's license, you need this. So,
I live in a small town.
yeah, okay. But we've had plenty of ticket. Some of them are bold enough to run anymore, you know, chase kids. So that's just bad. So, but I would call in if you know who they are.
Like I said, I don't know, I just saw them in the last couple of days, weekend, they just appeared.
Sometimes that's possibly the best way to go if we can't catch them that day. We just go ahead and talk to their parents and say, you know, it's a good chance that things can get impounded without driving around on the street. That's the angle I would take.
Just wanted to let you know that's going on.
Okay. I will make sure that everybody knows and reminded that underage drivers on the ETV there should be a high priority. Things should be the tip.
They go pretty good clip.
They roll all the time. They're not made for run on paper. They don't like corn.
Any other questions for Officer Horn? Sergeant?
No, you're wrong.
Oh, all right, well, thank you.
Has the presidency seemed like it's enough in town? I mean, if you're seeing all that, I know that our patrol times are in, so we're over the monthly amount. But you guys don't have a huge requirement for us to patrol. So does our presence feel like it's applicable?
Well, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job of patrolling Highway 6 and the fire station.
Okay.
Highway 6 and the fire station, I very, very seldom see them anywhere else. I also don't look anywhere else.
Right. They should be running a grid every time that they're in town, which is basically a random.
I actually just see them driving down like my street and then on streets.
Because right now I got one guard in the fireplace. Or the fire station. I pull into town like, you're doing something. But
Seems like most of our complaints are coming from Grand Street, West Street, from the 100 block to the 7. So,
Yeah, west side of town, basically.
okay. So step up to patrol in that part of the town. Yeah.
and while we're discussing it, Church Road is an Autobahn during commuter hours.
Okay.
And I would say 90% of the people are just passing through.
Mm-hmm.
But
Probably.
just like Interstate 80 in Omaha, if you go 55 down Church Road, you're the road hazard. 100%. As is, and this is out, far from our reach, but 63 at Church is.
63 churches, what?
People coming off the interstate.
Very dangerous.
I get past turning onto Church almost every night.
Outside.
Passing while you're turning.
Yeah,
within the intersection.
Oh yeah, happens all the time. So you look into those, that'd be great, Sergeant Harmon.
Can we just set up construction zone on Church Road?
No, we ran traffic, so like we paid actual overtime to run traffic, and I happened to take that particular brand, I don't usually. And it was Church from 50 Greenwood. And the day they assigned it, Church was closed from 50. I was like, well, the traffic's a little light out here, but you know, and it's crazy though. I mean, we'll have to look at it specifically at rush hour, what you're talking about. Because when I run Church, I don't really run into that many people that speed. It always surprises me too. It's pretty low speed limit. But there's no shoulder and it's deer alley, so it's a great place to pick off speeders with animals. But the commuter thing or the at rush hour, that makes more sense. If we can focus in on that and then on 63 Church.
6:30 to 7:30.
And
in the morning.
And then
4:30.
4:30 to 5:30.
AM was the toughest one. Just from a staff.
I say just park up at the cemetery and you can just clock them going right down the road.
So the LiDAR is laser versus radar. The radar, you have to be facing the direction of travel or reverse. And then the LiDAR, you can just be standing still pointed anywhere you want to get somebody. But
You know, I have one of those radar trailers that we could have for a while. Do we have to pay for that?
no, we have one. Where would you like it stationed?
About, if you could put it about where the speed limit drops from 55 to 40 or 40 to 35. Coming into Greenwood,
We can agree on
I
church.
think people might realize how fast they're going, but they shouldn't be.
Talking about church or on 6?
Church.
Church.
Okay.
Going westbound.
We actually just had some refurbishments done on the speed trailer. So there's no cost for that. Just take requests and mark it, and somebody picks it up at the other time of the day that we need it. We don't usually leave it out there. What might be interesting, can you see if we can park it at the fire station overnight a couple of times? Because that way we can pull it out at night, still we're done with it, put it in the fire station, and somebody bring it on. We don't like to leave it out overnight. Or, well, you never know, but, yeah, no, they work. They make everybody do it, they make me do it when I drive over. Alright, we'll get a speed trailer out.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I'm more interested in 63 in church. This is a dangerous corner, right?
Well, admit it's a dangerous corner, pending litigation. But if you were to sit to the east of 63 on Church, guarantee you'll catch, during commuter hours, you'll catch 1 or 2 people passing through that intersection.
Well,
That truck pulled through about 60 mile an hour, didn't even stop.
Gotcha.
Coming west to east. Or east to west.
That's a rough, you'll catch air.
It's an attention giver.
About it.
I've tested it. I agree. Let's see what the speed is on this. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that interests me because it's dangerous. Yeah. It needs to be addressed. So, take it up and we'll do it out to both teams.
All right, thank you.
Cool. All right, thanks for letting me come in late. I figured once I didn't make it at the beginning, I wasn't gonna be able to do it. So, all right, appreciate it.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, approve or disapprove Cheryl Burnside to join the library.
I'll make a motion to approve Cheryl Burnside to join the library.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call, Kevin.
Aye.
Connie.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Stephanie. Discussion possible action, tree trimming 112 Broad in the alley.
He doesn't know for sure if that's it.
We don't know if it's in the alley for sure.
Is it Norfolk? Norfolk?
There's a house to the left, and it's empty, on the, kind of on the corner by Nathan's.
We just can't go out and start trimming people's trees.
What's the reasoning behind the tree trimming? Is it just,
I don't know what he is.
Is that a man and pole there?
no, it's an anchor pole for the line there. That's what I was looking
That's the phone company thing.
Yeah, Twin Street.
Is it obstructing alley access?
I don't believe so.
Other than it being an unsightly overgrown thing, but it's not, I don't believe it to be in the alleyway.
To me, it falls on homeowner if there's any issue.
Make a motion to deny the tree trimming at 112 Broad in the alley. I believe that's a homeowner responsibility.
I'll say,
Roll call, Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Donna, Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
aye.
Discussion of possible act of tree and brush trimming at 725 7th Street.
Oh, I see obstruction, yeah, pull out on 7th Street, you can't see to the west on Church Road.
If that's the case, they send them a letter to tell them they have to trim. That's a tree trim.
So Jimmy asked us to help him with that last week, so I don't know if that encompasses this or not.
Yeah, he didn't do anything with it.
Oh,
You have to try to do either one.
okay.
I think, to me, the one on 7th Street and the other one,
Right beside.
yeah, but those are both safety hazards because you cannot see down Church Road, to the west. As far as I'm concerned, that does need to be taken care of because it's an overgrowth on Church Road.
So it'd be the one on Walnut and Ashland, not on 7th.
Yeah, 7th and Church Road, there's like Pine Tree or something obstructing view to the west. And then there's another one that would.
The one in Ashton Church, he needs to take that out himself.
Okay.
We already had a discussion.
Okay.
He said we'd taken several.
I like the idea of sending them water, giving them certain amounts of temperature.
Right. It's open property.
I think our ordinance states that it's the responsibility of the homeowner to.
I'd make a motion to approve a letter being sent to 725 7th Street for the tree trimming and brush trimming for site down Church Road.
I'd include 743 in that one too.
And address 743 7th Street also.
I'll second.
Roll call, Donna, Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Discussion of possible action, 6th and O, obstruction intersection.
And all those trees planted on the power, now would be the time to make them go somewhere else. What does the new property owner have to say about that? Is he willing, we contact him and explain to him why this is a terrible idea? Would he, you think he'd remove them?
Yeah, I don't even know if is there a new property owner or not. I don't.
So it was foreclosed on, the bank owned it, some guy bought it, flipped it, sold it to somebody else.
It's been there about 3 months.
Yes. So,
They're about 2 seasons away from getting trimmed, just hacked to, I mean, they look terrible. Cause you literally centered them on the car line, and they're centered.
the dead center under the power line.
So. Would you like, are you asking me to contact Mr.
No, I think, Darlene, if you could make contact with that homeowner, and let him know that it's a problem, that we would like them to be removed. Catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar. Ask nicely, explain to them that it's a problem, and if you comes down to it. Now, you guys explain to him that when we do trim them, we should reach off the ground.
I'm gonna look through it.
They're not even that good of a tree, are they?
No, they're ornamentals he put in, and when he put them in, we told him not to put them there, and they were put in overnight.
But you can't, I mean, those ornamental trees are really hard to
Yes.
Technically, we could make them remove them because they're on a drainage way. But
Again, let's start with asking nicely.
yes,
That's nice. I'll make a motion to have the clerk contact property owner. What's the address there? You have any idea? I'll just say on the southeast corner of Sixth and Oak regarding the trees under the power line and if he's willing to remove them.
Well, and to trim his own trees that have been declining through the portal because of the obstruction.
And to trim his own trees.
I'll second that.
We'll call Mark.
Hold on a second, Darlene, are you clear on that?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Aye.
John, I, Stephen.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Discussion possible action sidewalk repair between Yoder's and Yoder's Furniture and USPS.
I don't think that's gonna get any better. What's the chances of removing that drain, Alan, or does that drain need to be there?
He put a building drain in there, he's gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's drain the roof out of the building.
So, I'm assuming you probably go, 3 feet on either side of that drain? The length of the drain?
Yep.
That's something.
And we probably, if you ask us to do it, then, we're gonna replace it, because they just basically just cut a slot in the concrete, and they just screwed a grate in there. We put an actual
Drain in there.
An actual drain. I'd be legit.
Have you any idea,
If you put the grate back in, it's just gonna happen again.
have you any idea on the cost or not?
I guess why ain't that property owner's responsibility?
We just want to ask that. Cause I have to maintain mine.
Is that on the Yoder side or the post office side? On the post office side.
It's on yours, I believe.
It's on Yoder's, because there's a little retaining wall there was put in. And I believe property line is 6 inches off the face of the post office wall. if I remember correctly.
I have a hard time figuring out the orientation. Was this brought forward by a citizen or by?
Citizen.
According to our bylaws, every owner of any lots, or piece of land within the corporate limits shall at all times keep and maintain the sidewalk along according to the statute of parcel of land in good and proper repair.
So we should send a letter to the others.
If I may, the only issue is gonna be it was damaged, it's not a deteriorating thing, it was damaged by somebody. But I don't think anybody has any idea who. Cause it was damaged while they were pushing snow, so. It didn't deteriorate, it was hit. So, I don't know if that changed anything or not.
From my glance, it looked like the sidewalk had undermined a little bit, and it just, so.
Yeah. And the lags that been there are terrible, so they chipped the concrete out.
Says here they have 21 days after it issues, it's said noticed. We've got 3 weeks.
To do the letter included with the ordinance.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to send the orders the letter and include the ordinance that states that they're responsible.
For a second,
I'll second.
we'll call Stephanie.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Tanya.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Don, aye. Board comments or questions, Stephanie?
I know you weren't here at the last meeting, but there is a little camper that was set up in the trailer cabin and I have that one.
I am aware of it, and I was going to address that too. According to what we have on the books, it is legal to have it there. There is nothing that says they cannot, as of right now. Because it is considered a mobile home, just like anything else. It's not, we don't have anything in our municipal code that specifically states travel trailers cannot be in there. That's what it, I looked through it, believe me. I looked through zoning, I looked through the other
So
stuff.
that had to have a skirt and all that stuff in order to be considered a.
Yes, but the way it is set up right now, according to what we have in the zoning regulations and municipal codes, there's nothing that specifically states travel trailer, and that's what it is. It is a travel trailer or RV. It just says trailer. And there, it's so vague, there's nothing to specifically state that. And I believe me, I've been looking for this, and so. Yes, because we had this before, there was a trailer on that particular property, or that particular site before. We let it sit there for 2 years, I think it was. Because he was paying rent, everything was hooked up, so forth. That is a rentable space, the way it's set up right now. But that's what we have on the books. I haven't been able to find anything that says they cannot do it specifically. In the planning and zoning stuff, it specifically states an RV or travel trailer, but the definition is not used anywhere to deny coverage. Yes.
There's something to do with the sewer discharge. Because remember the last one, that's how we got it to move it. 'Cause it was something to do with the discharge of the sewer.
Because it's one, yeah, because there's one coming out of there, it's all funneled in.
That's where the kicker was.
Okay.
They can't be hooked up to our sanitation.
Okay,
There's something in there about that, or.
Right.
all right, I will take a look on that one, see what I can find, but yeah.
Pretty sure you're right.
See, maybe just look at.
Because they can't put the chemicals in the system.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
And I apologize, but we can revisit something.
That's all.
You're done?
To me, a couple things for you, over, I believe on Grand Street, there's still a couple rolls of underground primary laying over there. Can we get them out of there, please, so they don't get vandalized or somebody decides to receive their copper? No, I get that, I mean, Jimmy can move those things again, it's fine, yeah. RD was the other thing, for, status of the maintenance building down at the sewer plant.
So they poured the apron today.
Okay.
And Dustin is, he's months behind on power, but that'll be next.
Okay.
And then we just got, they had poured the apron before we put the front on, so the apron's poured, so now we'll put the metal in the front, now pretty much make it weathertight, it is weathertight now, but.
Doors and everything are on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the heaters will go in here at some point, it's no big hurry now, obviously.
That's all I had for him. The last thing I had, new planning and zoning maps are in Darlene's possession, and she has electronic copies that we can update whenever we need to now. So let planning and zoning know that too. That's all I got.
Alan, thank you very much for all the work that you've done and the research on the well.
Sure.
Appreciate it. And then just to remind everybody, July 13th at the county planning and zoning meeting, they will be speaking about the data centers coming into Cass County. So if anybody has an opinion that they want heard, that would be the time and place to come. That's all I have.
The chip sealing for Highway 6, Greenwood to Waverly has been pushed back to next, either Tuesday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday due to possible rain overnight tonight and tomorrow. It's my understanding that the state of Nebraska and Frontier Co-op have come to an agreement to remove the driveway that obstructs the water from draining Highway 6 and Main Street. Projected completion of that is the end of this month. So hopefully they can straighten that out. I caught some of the railroad guys over there when they were moving that shed, control shack up off the ground, and I said, hey, what are you doing over here? He goes, well, this thing keeps shorting out, it's wet, so we're putting it on stilts. So if that's not the definition of can't fix the brakes, we'll make the horn louder, I don't know what is. I could drain the water out of here, but that's the railroad for you. But, got those projects under control. Hopefully, that's all I got.
Alan, you wanna revisit something?
Yeah, on the water. I actually forgot to ask you guys, so I sent the trailer court owner notification that he has to provide testing results of his backflow preventer because he runs all those trailers on 2 services. We forced him back in 08 or 09 to put a VFP on there to protect us, protect our system. He's required annually to test those to make sure it's working, and he hasn't provided that for several years now. So I sent him a letter saying you need to get that done. He didn't respond. So I would just like some guidance on what to do next.
Is there a more we shut your water off clause there?
I believe that is the next, we send him the letter, he has, I think, 30 days to respond. If he does not within that, we have the right to everything.
In the past, I know we've actually done paid for the test and then put it on his bill.
Yeah, I know that we've replaced several of these on his property, so I know that there's a growing list of things for that place. I just need some guidance on what you want to do. And my next question is the same thing with backflow preventer. A resident would like their 25-year-old screw-on VSP taken off their yard hydrant, and I don't think we can do that. But at the same time, they failed. I mean, they're 25 years old. So I just need some guidance on what to do on the backflow stuff. I personally don't think you have a choice. You have to enforce it. You have to make it.
Oh, yeah, that's state law.
Yeah.
I mean, bars.
You can't have 5 residences on 1 3/4 inch copper line without having a problem. That's why we included this.
Right.
How long has it been since you
Probably 60 days. Probably.
should we put that on the next agenda then?
You could get anybody out within a couple days.
I mean, yeah, we can do it. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
want.
last time we did do it,
We get to.
just so you know, it took us at least a year to get that money. He just wouldn't pay. So I say we just make him do it and give him so many days and fine.
My thought on this one is, like he said, but I would, if we're gonna do something with this, and I would kind of put a letter out to everybody there at the trailer court, put a little pressure on the property owner. Hopefully that would help.
We'll give them notification that
Yes.
it's pending.
Well, you gotta send it to the person that gets the bill.
I know, but
Just warning them that,
Yeah.
like, this is gonna happen, so if he doesn't do this, you will be affected negatively, basically, because it's not fair to them because they're tenants, but it still needs to be enforced.
But you also need to remember that the state ain't gonna come back on the property owner. They're gonna come back
Yeah, I know.
on you.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean, that's why, just
That's
as a
why we
courtesy to
ended
them,
up paying
it's still
for it
enforced
last time
it,
to get in
because he obviously
compliance.
needs to.
Yeah, because the state wanted to see the record.
Yes.
And then as part of our corrective action efficiency was that we didn't have a record of that's on our deficient list.
Oh, yeah.
It is. That's why I took the letter.
Right.
It's on the deficient list.
I say we put it on the next agenda.
yeah,
Because we can't do that about tonight. So, anything else?
No, sorry.
Did you have something, Bob?
Me?
Did you want to talk?
Oh,
Oh, me? Yeah, well, did I miss it earlier?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm guilty, I'm at Tillman University, I'm gonna clean that up, I'm gonna be living in Stanton next year, with fiance, so I'm gonna be putting that up for sale, clean that up, I definitely want it out, all that stuff out of there too. So, give me some time, it took time to get some of it in there, you know. It's hot, man, I tried to do some things, I don't know, I had to stop, I'm too old for that heat.
what's a realistic time in your mind?
60 days, and if you don't see something by then done, it's like go to jail.
Fair enough.
I can say that I have seen him over there every day for at least the last 8 weeks.
Say I have as well.
And I have seen things leak.
I just got parts for stuff that's set too, so tomorrow I'm putting stuff together, to get it out of there, the campers. So, the trailers.
I'm glad to see you're making progress compared to other neighbors in the area, so
Oh,
thank you.
it's all on the agenda, my cousin, she's definitely getting that done.
Just keep her.
Finding out now, what is 32 years I've been single, so. Oh well. Get too old, I gotta do something, right? Just give me some time, I mean, 30 days, I can say that, come talk to me.
We can't really vote on it, but we can say, we'll give you 60 days.
Thank
We can put it on the next agenda so we can actually vote on it.
you. Can you, I've been trying to find people to come and do work, and I just, weed man, I thought that'd be a good idea. It's all about having yards that are nice and they'll come and take care of it.
Oh,
You know, this is the commercial kind of like clean out. So I can't find it. What do you guys do in that particular? Do you hire?
A dumpster and bring a dumpster.
Well, who does the work?
Around here, most people recommend 1-800 got junk. And
1-800 what?
yeah, they got junk, because that's what making normal I use around
Wasn't
here.
there a place in Ashland that does like scrap?
Yeah, there's a couple of Ashland that,
Go to like the Ashland Community Board of Concern, the Ashland Community Board of Concern, I think it's like
I got 14-year-olds.
It was Ashland. I know there's one in Ashland.
The last time 1-800 junk, you gotta pay for it, which I understand. But it's like, it's stuff, you know, they want to sell too. And they,
It's on that whenever.
yeah, it's on there. It's like, I got a hold of there was a signing a petition today, and Fremont, and these kids are signing a petition for some kind of labor, to be honest. I got labor for you, I paid you. You only want $25 an hour. I go, well, let me send you pictures, because they want to see what I got to clean up. I said, it's gonna happen, probably be that. Do you have any kids? I'll talk to Alan.
Talk to me after.
Okay, you're
other than that, I have nothing. We can adjourn at 8:02.